everybody. We are back, and my name is Victoria.
I'm Cassie.
Nice to see you guys again. Today's topic is really all about waking up from a society that has been largely built over profit over people, and waking up to the fact that we want to be people over profit, rather, being people over profit. And so yesterday we had quite an experience in our day that was brought to us that made us both really passionate about sharing what we're just about to share today. And so thank you for being here with us to hear what we mean about this. What is profit over people, and what is people over profit?
This is a huge thing that a lot of us are waking up to more recently, is like how our society has been created, and how there's this drive for money and always getting ahead, and as you said a lot, competition and me, and essentially profit over people. And we're now becoming aware of that and looking at it and being like, this doesn't really make a lot of sense, and it's actually causing pain to so many people in our society and all over the world in different ways, really. So how do we bring ourselves out of that? How do we shift into a people over profit world?
Absolutely. And then when we look at it from the energy center or chakra system perspective, it's moving from that solar plexus chakra into the heart, where we can all look after each other and work in harmony and unity and collaborate with one another, so that we can see success for everybody and not just for one person, so that we can all be successful in this world. And I think that the first step that we were really wanting to bring to today is having the awareness of it, the awareness that there is so much corruption on our current planet as it is, and just coming into the awareness of that is the first really important step. And sometimes this can be the hardest step, because it's like, for myself, when I started to learn about what was going on, I was like, oh my goodness me, like I just wanted to trust everything and everybody, and that everything was, hunky-dory on this earth. We were living here and it was a great place to be, but then finding out the stuff that's happening behind the scenes can be really overwhelming. But the one thing that it did for me was help me to actually pluck out of it, because I was entrenched in the system as it was, and then when I found out some information, it helped me to actually leave that part and then want to be able to create in a more harmonious way.
As you said, awareness is the first step, and we had a pretty like shocking example of that happen just yesterday, where we really got to see in an area of society that we didn't necessarily expect to see such corruption and such profit over people living. I would love for you to share them.
Thank you. We went to a vet yesterday, a vet clinic. My little puppy dog needed some support, and so we took off and we went to this vet, which we had looked at some reviews online, and there seemed to not be the best reviews previously when we had looked online. But then we heard from another friend's experience that actually it was a great experience, and so we went there. And when I went inside, on the wall was this article, a news article, about a case that had to be filed by this veterinary clinic to the Canadian Veterinary Association because of corruption about their practice. And so basically this amazing veterinary clinic had come to Canada from India, I think like maybe 20 years ago. And when he got here, saw that there was a huge waiting list for animals to be spayed and neutered at the SPCA, because the SPCA was charging such a small amount, like $40 to $50 to have your animal spayed or neutered. And so he saw this waiting list and he wanted to make an impact, he wanted to help. And so he decided to make the same price for spaying and neutering at his clinic. And so they did a whole bunch of spaying and neuterings of these animals. And then what happened was the list shrank down to zero, the waiting list. And so lots of people were being able to get in at this nice cheap price. And there were some competitors out there, some other vets that did not like this, because it was taking away from their profit. I don't know if anyone out there has done research to get your animals spayed or neutered, but it can be quite expensive, like in the hundreds of dollars. And actually it only costs, I think, $4, he revealed, $4 for a spaying or a neutering. So to charge $40 to $50, they were still making a significant amount of money, and so they thought this was a good thing. But then what happened was the competitors decided that they wanted to basically go against him, and so they got their clients to write bad reviews on this veterinary clinic so people wouldn't go. People wouldn't actually go there to get their dogs spayed or neutered because they wanted to keep their prices high and have big profit margins. Yeah, it was really big to see that. I was like, I cannot believe this is actually happened. Like, it was such a just a tangible example of corruption, and in an industry where, you know, these are our animals and our beloved pets that I think everybody can attest to. You just want to take care of them, but having to spend so much money is ridiculous when it's only $4 to have that procedure done. So
yeah. Wow. It's such an impactful story, and for me, I've been looking at going to this veterinary clinic and reading the reviews as well, and you know, that has an impact. It has an impact on whether or not you're going to take the most precious thing in your life, for some of us, our animals, to this person where there are bad reviews involved. And so to hear that this was actually what was going on behind the scenes is just huge, and is so indicative of, as you've said, it's a microcosm, a small example of what's happening on the larger scale, the macrocosm, and how different industries in our society work, and really how our society functions overall as a whole. It's completely money driven, and really to the detriment of the health and well-being of the citizens, us, fellow humans.
Yeah. So it's a big topic, you know, and sometimes it feels, for myself, even speaking to it, can feel quite heavy, but I think we just need to get real, you know, and start to really open our eyes and see these things so that we can make changes, so that we can shift. Because when we came back from the clinic yesterday, I was like, whoa! Like, we gotta do, it gave me so much fire and so much inspiration to be able to be a change agent and be someone that helps people to see more. And so I'm grateful for it, and like I say, these challenges help us to take the right action. But it can feel challenging.
Yeah, we have someone on here. Theta Phoenix says exactly. Yes, you know what we're talking about. It's this time in humanity in particular feels like the veils are being lifted, and we're starting to see more examples of things like this, and it can be jarring. It's like, it's shaking, for me, shaking my core belief on how I thought things worked, and this inherent, as you said, like belief and want to believe that that we're all looking out for each other, and that really we're all in this together, and we're one humanity, and we're supporting one another. So really, it's important to share a light on things like this, and when we do have an awareness of something like this happening, and our eyes are opened, if you will, we're waking up to it, there are a few things that we can do to help release some of the energy, some of that distorted energy, that corrupted energy within the system.
Yeah, and like we've spoken about before, there's an internal system within ourselves, and then there's the external system. And the external system is really a reflection of what's happening on the inside. And so that's why we keep coming back to doing this work and purifying our own being, you know, purifying our own cells, so that we can release the distortion, so that we can start to create from a more heart-centered space, and not from that competitive place of putting profit before people, you know, rather coming back to looking after one another and putting people first. And I think that we can all agree that that's the world we want to live in, you know, that's the one thing we can agree on, is that we want to live in a world that is loving and kind and supportive, and we look after each other rather than compete with one another.
Yeah. And luckily, you know, we are creating that. We are creating that right now as we start to awaken to this information, but also, like, within ourselves, ask ourselves, what type of world do we want to see? What type of world do I want to live in? And how can I, in my own life, start creating more of that? How can I start being more generous? How can I start being, you know, more kind? How can I start helping others the way I would want to be helped? Is a really good question to ask ourselves.
Should we go through purification?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Awesome. Yeah, so whenever anything like this is brought to the surface, whenever we bring awareness to something, to anything, to corruption in this case, it's basically we're bringing like our eyes to it, we're bringing light to it. And so when we do that, we can actually dissolve it. And so we're helping by becoming more aware. So it's not even a huge job, right? It's just like, oh my goodness, this is what's happening. And so when we see it, instead of resisting it or like getting afraid of it, it's like, it's a really good opportunity to feel it and let our bodies are amazing. They can actually purify information. And so what we'll do now is just speaking back to what we just shared, we can all come in through a process. We can close our eyes and purify this information, and then we'll release it and know that we've done a really good job by simply breathing it through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You want to guide us through?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay. Let me get comfy here. So if you're watching, coming into a comfortable seat and closing your eyes. And we'll take 3 deep breaths together, in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. One more time, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And the amazing thing is that simply by breathing with this awareness, we are purifying this information that's in the field, that's in our world. And so bringing this awareness of anything you feel is corrupted or distorted or unfair, beautiful, unequal, unharmonious,
Unjust.
Yeah, bringing that into your heart space now. Bringing this feeling or memory and bringing it into your heart space and coming back to your breath and taking nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Imagining with each breath in, you're breathing in white light. Bringing this light down into your heart with each inhale. Bringing light to this distortion. Continuing to breathe here. Trusting in your breath, your body, and your energy to do all that's necessary to move and clear what no longer serves you, us, and humanity. Noticing the sensation in your heart. Maybe there's been a shift. Maybe you don't feel anything. Trusting that it is being done through your breath.
Now we're going to replace this space that we have cleared. Clearing this distortion, whatever it may be that you have chosen to purify with your breath. And let's call in qualities that we all long for as a humanity. And as we call them into being, we call them into our energy fields, attracting that toward us, toward our earth, toward each other. So let's call in harmony. Calling in harmony. A harmonious way of living with our earth and with each other. Calling in peace. A peaceful way of being and relating to one another. Calling in joy. A joyous way of being. Calling in equality. A world where we see each other as equal, where we work together. To co-create a beautiful world. And taking your hands together, rubbing them together, making them nice and warm. And placing them over your beautiful heart. Giving thanks to your heart and your breath for purifying distortion. And to your heart for receiving equality, harmony, joy, and peace. And you can gently flicker your eyes open. Yeah. So awareness is the first step. That's a key. Then we can release whatever it is that we become aware of. And then we take an action step to move forward in a more harmonious direction, or direction of our desires or choices. And then that feels good.
Yeah, and that action step, we just took a small action step by calling in those qualities that we want to see. It doesn't always have to be action out there and do. That's part of the old way. It can be within ourselves and within our close relationships, within our small sphere of our life, is where we create change, and that change ripples out. Yeah. That was so nice, and that process is part of our signature purification process that we use with purifying all of these different things that come up. And so soon we'll have a very exciting announcement to share. We're in the process of creating a course that's going to be focused all around this, about clearing your body and clearing your energy field from these distortions and purifying them.
Absolutely. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for being with us today. Thank you for watching and listening and helping to purify the planet so we can all live in a better way together.
Yeah. And please let us know down below how this felt for you, whether you've been experiencing this as well. I'm sure it's not just us. Yeah, we would love to hear from you. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Have
Bye-bye.
a beautiful day.
Yeah.